Hello and welcome back to our series all about the air concept in the well building standard. Now, if you are thinking about getting started on your well AP exam prep, or if you're a seasoned well AP who just wants a bit of a refresher on everything air quality, the air concept, and kind of an overview of the features inside it, then this is the episode for you. The goal here is really to go through each of the features in this concept and talk a little bit about why the concept is designed this way, what are some of the kind of key ideas, and what are really just look at the fundamentals of the overall air concept. And if you're sitting here wondering, why should I care about air quality? Why does air quality even matter? Then take a look at the previous episode for some crazy statistics about the impact that air quality has on our health, our productivity, our comfort. The statistics are crazy, so if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go and take a look at that. Now, with that, let's dive into the actual air concept. The IWBI made air the first concept, I believe, for a reason. It is absolutely critical and crucial to our survival and health. You can survive multiple days, multiple weeks without water or without food, but you can't survive more than about 2 or 3 minutes without air, right? It's fundamental to our existence. And the air concept within the well building standard has more preconditions than any other concept within the standard. So preconditions in well are things that you have to do. Optimizations are things that you can do if you want a higher score, if you want to improve your score, but preconditions are the non-negotiables. If you want to have a well-certified building, you need to meet these preconditions. So there are a lot of them within the air concept. And actually, across the entire well building standard, almost a third of all of the strategies relate to air quality. So it's really, really important. And I think it's definitely the right thing for the IWBI to put this emphasis and provide all of these points on this concept, because again, poor air quality causes all sorts of health issues, from headaches and eye irritation to more serious things like asthma attacks, and obviously much longer term things like cancer. We also spend an insane amount of money every year, around 100 billion each year on air pollution, indoor air pollution related costs, which could be entirely avoided. Respiratory disease, lost productivity, and all sorts of other things. So it's very important. Now, maybe some basics before we jump into every feature. When we say air quality, what are we actually talking about, right? Especially indoor air quality. This will typically mean various contaminants that can exist inside our indoor environment. PM 2.5, these are sort of particulate matter in the air, so actual sort of physical dust as an example, but they can be really, 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 really fine and have serious health consequences. VOCs, so that's volatile organic compounds, CO2, and a whole host of potential other contaminants within our indoor space. We'll talk about these in a lot more detail later. Now, these are not contaminants that only exist far away in a factory. They actually exist all around us in our indoor spaces. They can come from poor filtration from the outside. They can come from cleaning sprays, chemicals that are used for cleaning. Ironically, oftentimes trying to create a clean space actually leads to an unclean space. It can come from fireplaces, stoves, furniture, fabric, glue, you name it. And again, if you remember the crazy stat from the previous episode, only 0.01% of the global population is breathing healthy air today. I have seen all sorts of crazy examples of sources of indoor contaminants with clients over the years, from offices that are side by side or in the same building as a manufacturing plant where there is poor HVAC and whatever is going on the manufacturing floor just creeps throughout the building and makes its way into the offices. I've seen buildings where the HVAC intake, which is supposed to be pulling fresh air into the building, was located in the parking lot, in the parking garage, underground. Big no-no there. And I've seen many examples of HVAC systems bringing in polluted air into the building from outdoors when there's a wildfire. hand sanitizer, paint, cleaning sprays, which are all giving off all sorts of VOCs and chemicals. And of course, office buildings that also have sources of combustion inside, like kitchens, and not using particularly clean fuels, and leading to indoor levels of carbon monoxide, nitrous dioxide, and so on. So, with all of that, let's take a look at how WELL is guiding people and helping them to achieve good air quality. So just pull up the guidebook here. So this is the WELL v2 guidebook, and you will see that there are the P's over here. These are the preconditions. These are the must-haves. And then there's a whole number of optimizations. So A01, the first precondition, this is really about meeting thresholds for a variety of parameters. And we'll go through these in other episodes in a lot more detail, but at a high level, A01 is basically just about ensuring that the building actually has clean air. So a great takeaway from this is if you have, because this is a precondition, if you have a WELL certified building, that means that this building has clean air. We'll talk a little bit more later about the various ways that this is verified and validated, but at a fundamental level, every building must meet certain thresholds for different air quality parameters. Particulate matter, organic gases, inorganic gases, radon, and so on. A02 is really about making sure that people don't smoke in the building. It's pretty basic. A03 is about ensuring adequate ventilation, and so that's really about making sure that there is enough fresh air coming into the building from the outside. There are various ways that you can achieve this by meeting certain standards that exist, like ASHRAE 62.1, or by, for example, measuring the air quality and ensuring that certain levels of CO2 are met, which show that there's enough outside air being brought into the building. And the last of the preconditions is really around mitigating the pollution that comes from construction, right? So if there is construction that takes place while the space is WELL certified, there's a whole host of things that must be done to ensure that the people within the space are not affected. And so I think this is a great example, just looking at the preconditions. You can see kind of how the WELL standard works and the ways for verifying the different features are being met. Some are actually performance-based, right? A measurement is being taken and you have to hit a specific threshold. Some are more policy-based, right? This is, it's a policy, and it's verified also by on-site photographs, letters of assurance. Here you have letters of assurance and kind of technical documents that show that these things are being done, and the same thing here. So the whole standard verifies that these things are being done through a combination of different mechanisms, which you can see here. Now, going through the list, A05, this is really about going the extra mile, and not just meeting the fundamentals to say this building has decent air quality, but it is actually going the extra mile to deliver on exceptional air quality. And so it's quite similar to A01, except that there are extra points for measuring other parameters and meeting other thresholds that are not included in some of the other ones, like A01. A06, this is around enhanced ventilation design. So again, it's about going the extra mile when it comes to bringing air, outside air into the building. A03 is really just about kind of hitting the fundamentals, and A06 is about going the extra mile. So for example, there's the option of monitoring ventilation through measurement of CO2 levels. A03, if you hit 900 ppm or less, that you are meeting the precondition, whereas A06, if you manage to get to 750 ppm or less, then you will be able to obtain points under A06. A07 is a feature that I really love. This is around operable windows. Again, this is a perfect example of the WELL standard recognizing that this is something that fundamentally just is important to human beings, right? I think we've probably all experienced being inside a building where you can see that it's beautiful outside, the sky is blue, the birds are singing, there are green trees, and you walk up and you can open the window and you feel fresh air coming to the space, and it's not only good for our physical health to breathe clean outdoor air, it's also good for our mental health to be able to experience this. I think it's just part of being a human being. And so there are points for this, right? If you have operable windows, again, comparing that to a moment of being in a large glass tower where the windows cannot open, it always feels like it's missing a little something, right? And so A07 is a great example of providing points for providing this access to operable windows. But again, in being in line with the well building standard, it's not just enough to say that you have windows which can be opened, because you could be in a city that is got really bad outdoor air pollution, and maybe the temperature outside is bad. And so there's a lot of notes in here. For example, outdoor levels of PM 2.5, temperature, humidity they need to be monitored. You need to be able to hit certain targets. So if it's highly polluted outside, you can't let people open the windows and call it a healthy building and that you're improving occupant health, right? A08 is obviously very close to my heart. This is around air quality monitoring and awareness. This is that buildings will get points for installing air quality monitors on the walls, capturing this information continuously. So not a single kind of point in time reading, but really measuring air quality over the days, the months, the seasons, and sharing that data with occupants. And there's a lot of details about how this data can be shared, but really it's about letting your occupants know that you are measuring air, that clean air is being provided to them, and through this you will be able to achieve A08 points. Now, there are many others here that I won't go into in all of the details. There's A09 is about stopping the infiltration of pollution, minimizing combustion, A10. There's features around air filtration and ensuring that filters are changed on time, ensuring that supply air is clean. And then there's even points around sort of microbe and mold control. So there's really a whole host of different features that cover the entire range of things that should be done to ensure clean air. Some of them are focused on the exact strategies to take to reduce. Some are focused on, like A01, ensuring that you actually have hit those thresholds. And some are focused, like A08, on the data to prove that you are maintaining those thresholds. There are various different verification methods as well. There is performance testing. So if we go back to A01 as an example, this can be verified, the fact that you're meeting these thresholds can be verified either by a performance test or by sensor data. Performance testing is when somebody comes in and they actually take essentially a sample of air in the building. The exact technology used, the methods will vary based on the parameter being measured. We'll talk about that in another episode. But performance test is essentially somebody coming on site, taking a reading, and then leaving. Sensor data is continuous monitoring that actually is taking a measurement every minute or every few minutes over potentially years. And that allows you to see changes in air quality over time. Other features are done through technical documents. Those would be things like architectural drawings. They could be test reports. They are documents that prove that the space meets the requirements. You'll also have letters of assurance. Those could be documents from the engineer, the owner, or somebody that's overseeing the feature in question and is basically saying, yep, I sign off that this feature is being met. And then you've got ongoing data reports. Well, I won't go through all of these, but ongoing data reports are documents that are collecting the ongoing monitoring data and reporting on that. So you'll probably have noticed at this point that well is extremely performance driven. It is evidence-based, it's science-based, and especially the air concept. And in short, that's why I am a huge fan of the well building standard. I believe that we should be doing everything based on evidence. We should be doing it based on performance. We should not be building buildings based on a checklist of I did A, B, C, D. We should be building buildings and then looking at the actual data to verify and validate that they are doing what they were designed to do. And that's really what the whole standard is around. So again, I'm a huge fan of it. Many of the air concept features, again, we'll be looking at either performance testing or continuous sensor data. That's a whole really interesting discussion. There are advantages and pros and cons of all of these different approaches. So that will be another dedicated episode that I'll be filming very soon. So stay tuned.